Hello and welcome to Reality TV Cringe. I am one of your hosts, Delia, and I'm here with my real tight homegirl and my daughter-in-law, the beautiful, the resplendent Beatrice.
Hi.
We are here tonight or today, depending on when you're watching, to talk to you about the most recent episode of Sister Wives, which I personally enjoyed, and
yes,
we'll talk about it when we get there. But I thought there were so many juicy morsels.
Oh, it was very juicy.
So many juicy morsels. Now, before we get into all of that, we do have to let you know, we got to give you a disclaimer. Please, hide your wife and hide your kids. This is a politically incorrect podcast. We say a lot of bad words. We have no couth, no class.
None.
And we don't care.
Nope.
And so if you're sensitive, you might want to find yourself another dumpster. But if you're down to party and walk around Coyote Pass looking at the pond with a realtor who does not know what is going on,
Oh my gosh.
well then welcome to this dumpster.
Yeah, and if you are ready to party with us, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Reality TV Cringe and join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/realitytvcringe. That's where the real party's at. We have so many new things for the new year. It's lit over there.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The only thing missing is you.
Yeah.
Now, if you are watching on YouTube, please do not forget to like and comment and share and subscribe, because truly every single thing you do helps us in the algorithm, and we are growing so slowly there.
So slow.
And we don't understand why that is, because we think we're putting out quality content.
We are.
And yet it is a slow, arduous climb to 5,000 Beatrice.
Girl, I know. When are we ever going to get there?
I think we're getting a little bit closer.
We're at 4.6 now.
Okay, that's great. I don't get it, honey. I don't get it. Like, just all the trash I see on YouTube, just like the repetitive, nonsensical, low quality trash.
Yeah.
And this is high quality trash.
High quality.
And we're stuck at
premium.
4.6.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Makes sense.
Girl.
So anyway, if you can help us, we would really appreciate that. And thank you in advance.
Thank you.
So before we get into this juicy, thick booty of an episode, I have to ask you, do you have any takeaways? Like, when you turned the episode off, what was your thought?
I mean, this is the shit that I like, man.
Yeah.
This is a great episode. I'm like, yes, let's talk about the coins. Let's talk about Coyote Pass. Let's talk about the lawyers. It was great.
Yeah.
And no Christine wedding. It's awesome. I love it.
Oh, it's like a kiss from Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
It was great.
It was really good. My takeaway was that this Cody Brown person,
Girl,
is definitely tweaking.
I mean.
Now, and we have opined a lot previously. We have put it out there that we think he's either on some testosterone, some steroids, some sort of, I don't know, meth or cocaine. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it was on display in this episode, because that man would not shut up. I actually had to pause it. I was getting overwhelmed.
Really?
I can't deal with people who constantly talk.
Oh, yeah.
And don't seem to notice that nobody wants to be there.
Yeah.
And they'll just vomit out all of these words on people. And that's what the realtor was just like, take a breath. Can I respond? I'm in this conversation too. And Cody was just going on and on and on. I actually looked it up.
Really?
Yeah. Because I walked away and I'm like, I need a break. I looked it up. It's called conversational narcissism.
Oh, I didn't know there was a term for it.
Yes. And apparently sometimes people can be narcissists just within dialogue and conversations.
Ooh.
And yet in other aspects of their life, they're completely reasonable and or self-aware. But once they start talking, am I doing it right now?
No.
Once they start talking, they don't stop.
Oh my God.
So it could be narcissism, and I think it is. It could be anxiety.
No.
It could be BPD. Or it could be drugs, honey.
I don't know. He was trauma dumping all over that poor realtor. And he's like, dude, can I just get my TLC paycheck and go? Like, OMG. There was a lot of weird moments with that, because the realtor's like, yeah, let's go over here so I can like get a feel for the property value. And Cody's like, no, let's go to the fence line.
Right. Let's look at all the markers.
More. Yeah. Let's go to the pond. I'm like, no.
And let me tell you this story about the pond. just so we can cut in that scene of him with no pants and his 6-pack abs that Janelle loved so much.
So he could flex for the cameras.
Right.
Yeah, and show how masculine and hot he was.
Something's going on with him.
Yeah.
Something is going on with him. So I'm just going to reassert that I think he's taking some kind of a substance, because that was just off the chain and wiggity whack.
He's got to be, man. He's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we have that out of the way, let's get into season 19, episode 18, entitled
Money is the root of all evil.
Which, by the way, just sidebar, I hate when people quote that.
Yeah, because it's not
It's not the actual quote.
Yeah.
The actual scripture reads that it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. Because, of course, money is just neutral. It is a tool. It is the currency.
Sure.
It's your love of money. It's your greed, Robin.
It's the greed, yeah.
That is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
So I just thought I would share that.
No, thanks for that educational lesson.
I'm here for you.
Girl. Well, we start with Jen and Mary in Parowan, and they're having a little conversation on the porch of the haunted B&B with Mary's new dog, Zona, who is very cute.
Yes.
Very rambunctious. And they get right into Coyote Pass and talking about the division of assets. Mary's got herself a lawyer.
Not yet. Well, she's talked to somebody. She hasn't retained somebody,
Well,
but she's on the precipice of retaining somebody.
Girl.
Apparently, like 3 weeks previous to this scene, she had sent an email out to Kody and Robin and to Janelle saying, hey, can we open up a convo, a little bit of a back and forth? What are we planning to do with the property? And Janelle very quickly responded and said, yes, I want to have this discussion. But it was Kody who was like, well, don't worry about it, ladies.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the right people, so don't worry your pretty little head over it.
Yikes. And that's why Janelle and Mary are rightfully worried about it, and they want to make sure they get their fair share of everything with Coyote Pass now that it's paid off, and figure out, okay, like, let's sell. And it's actually kind of interesting because Mary also brings up the conversation with Janelle just a few episodes ago, where Janelle came to her house and was warning her about this exact thing and telling Mary, hey, you want to look out for your ass here, because I don't think Kody and Robin are going to be fair at all. And Mary acknowledges that, you know, at that time, Janelle was probably pissed off at her because she had her walls up and she wasn't being very emotional. And she also just didn't think that Kody and Robin would be unfair.
Which I just still don't understand.
Me neither.
After everything that has happened and everything that Kody has done to you directly and said to you directly, privately, and also publicly in the show. Like, I don't understand how Mary had that position. But the fact that Mary then went to Kody and Robin and told them what Janelle had said, and they all kind of laughed about it because, oh my God, Kody would never. And now here we are months later, literally months later, and Kody is refusing to talk about it. Mary's like, I'm offering to help. Like, what can I do? And it's crickets. There's nothing. And so even Mary, with the emotional intelligence of a gnat, can see that this is not going to work out well for her unless she does something. And I love Jen.
Me too.
In these scenes.
Me too.
Sometimes she annoys me a little bit. She seems very conscious of the camera to me. And so I'm always wonder like how sincere and genuine she's being, but like I really do think she has Mary's back. And in this moment, she's all of us. When Mary's like, I don't want to make waves, and Jen's like, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I've got the matches.
Let me
burn
do it.
the whole thing down.
I
am ready.
She's the friend that Mary needs, honestly. And Mary even says something to the effect of like, Jen has been the most loyal to me, like more loyal than anybody in my family. Like, she's been there for her. She's definitely her ride or die. We didn't talk about this at the beginning of this recap, but they're starting a podcast together.
Oh yeah,
which is
sidebar.
Great. I love that.
So I think you posted that on our Instagram. It's going to be called Salty Birches.
Yeah.
Which is a play on the term salty bitches.
Yeah.
Which also is very germane because in this episode, Kody actually refers to Jen as a bitch.
Yeah.
So they must have seen this footage. And I actually think that this is genius level marketing.
Agreed.
And then I saw on Reddit, and I think you also posted on Instagram, they're wearing like sweatshirts they've got merch calling Jen a bitch. But yeah, let me ask you this in our sidebar conversation about the podcast. Do we think Mary is actually going to be open and honest and transparent and give us the real deets?
I feel like no. I feel like Mary is the queen of breadcrumbs, dude. I mean, it's like she dangles the carrot in front of everybody all the fucking time. She'll say just enough to like keep you on the hook, but not enough to like actually go balls to the wall and call Kody a dickhead or he's got a small penis. Like, why don't you say these things?
Please.
Like, why don't you just divulge it, please?
Right.
I don't understand why you hold back.
Yeah.
And even in this episode with Jen, she's like, you know, I didn't want to ruffle anybody's feathers and I wanted to be nice and everything, but now I want to make sure that I get my fair share. It's like,
now,
come on.
After you cut a check for 25% of the property,
Girl.
Now you want your fair share?
Yeah.
After you were unable to send Leon to college with the family fund, after you were unable to even purchase the car from the family fund for Leon, now you want your fair share?
Yeah.
This just rubs me the wrong way. Why weren't you thinking like this the entire time? Why were you continuing to contribute, I imagine, what would be an equal portion to the family fund and or LLC, but allowing yourself not to get equal in return? Like, you're a smart woman, you're a savvy business person. Why was this okay for you?
I think she just really had no self-worth for really a long time. And so like when you believe that and you believe, oh, maybe I'm not worth this much, or maybe like Cody's right, I don't deserve more acreage because I only have one kid. Like I only deserve 2 acres or I only deserve this. Like she makes these justifications for herself, which is sad. And like the way Kody has treated her is not great. But at the same time, it's like, oh my God, Mary, like, you are 50-something years old. I'm glad you're finally waking up now, but I wish you would just say everything with your full chest. Come on, just like drag Kody for everything that he's worth by the 2 little curls on his head that are hanging on for dear life. Just drag him through the mud.
Right, and it's not just Coyote Pass and the amount that you put in for that. It is also the amount that you contributed to Robin's McMansion that you should also get a portion of, particularly if they're selling that home in order to up level and have a $2.1 million home. Now, like, are they paying you back for the amount that you put into it? Because Cody's talking a lot about his failed businesses, and Kody is talking a lot about Janelle's profits that she didn't share. But like, what are the numbers? That is what I am so curious about. But to me, it's just like very unfortunate that you're waiting until now to make a fuss about it.
Right.
Because you could have stayed the legal wife. You could have actually got some child support for Leon. You could have actually got some of these assets and some alimony. Legally, you were probably entitled to that. But now you really don't have an argument because you let this person put his name on every single plot, and Robin too, except for one, I think, on every single plot. And so now you don't have the power to do much of anything.
It's just like Janelle too. I mean, she's pretty screwed too. Like Christine really was the one that got away with the most. I mean, she was able to leave cleanly and just sell her house and make the negotiation, give up her rights to Coyote Pass, and she's fine. Right. She's living her best life. Right. Buying Airbnbs with fucking her construction worker.
Drywall.
Yeah, drywall, making husband. Like, she's living great, and the rest of these wives are screwed.
Well, I mean, they're living great too. It's just that it's not fair.
That's what I'm saying.
It's still not fair, and it just makes me so upset. And to hear the way Kody is so blatantly misogynistic, talking about Janelle and Mary, inquiring of him about the status of the property and calling that nagging, and saying something like, well, when we were married they were terrible nags, and now that they're my exes they're still nagging me. I've still got to hear them complain. It's just so chauvinistic and awful. And I hate him so much.
Oh, me too. Every episode, every season he gets more hateable. It's like crazy. How can you dig yourself a deeper grave, dude? Like, you're literally the worst person on earth right now. I can't even imagine. But yeah, like this whole conversation with Jen was pretty enlightening because Mary's realizing that she's not getting her fair share. She hasn't been getting her fair share for a long time. It was interesting. She made a comment when she was talking about like getting a lawyer that she's like, man, there's a lot of things that I have to think about, because she was talking about how she paid for all of the other kids' colleges and all of their cars, but she had to provide Leon with their own stuff all by herself, and how that wasn't fair. And then even with the wet bar, we get that conversation.
Well, Kody throws it out there in his talking head, like he's like, oh, well, now Mary's going to be complaining about all the things that she has a problem with. It's water under the bridge. And says some sort of throwaway comment like, well, she had her wet bar. She wanted the wet bar. But then we hear from Mary say, I paid for that wet bar.
She did.
And I made every payment on that house, which I thought was very profound because we are, I think, in season 6. We just saw like them with the blueprints and the plans and her wanting the pantry, wanting the wet bar. But we haven't really gotten to the construction yet of the home. And so we haven't heard them talk about who's paying for what. But the way that it seems is that each wife at the time of Vegas in the cul-de-sac when they're building their homes had a specific amount of money, right? And Christine came in under and Mary came in over. And then anything above and beyond that, we wondered, well, how are they going to pay for that? Is Mary going to take away from Christine?
Yeah.
Is she going to try and take away from Janelle in order to get the wet bar? But as it turns out, Mary paid for anything above and beyond that out of her own pocket.
Yes. And I mean, honestly, she should have, because
yes,
it's
absolutely.
Like, it's not fair to take the extra money from the extra wives. And we were kind of critical on our recaps in the rewinds of Mary because the whole wet bar thing was kind of ridiculous. Like,
100%.
Why do you need a wet bar? Like, it's really silly to me, but whatever, priorities, I guess. And she needed to have, like, in order to have the wet bar, she had to have a 5th bedroom and she had to have a craft room or a pantry or something. Like, she had to have this ginormous house. And I didn't think it was that fair. But
Leon was right on the verge of going to college.
Exactly.
Like 6 months after that.
Exactly.
But it is fair if each wife got the same amount and she was willing to pay above and beyond. And she says in this episode, why shouldn't I have a wet bar?
Sure.
Why shouldn't I have whatever I want as long as I'm willing to pay for it?
Yeah.
Kody acting like he's taking from his own personal funds in order to give anybody anything is such a lie because he's really never had a job. He's never had a job. TLC and this program, as we have discussed ad infinitum, this is his only job. So to the extent that he's purchased anything for himself or anybody else, it's off the back of these women and these children.
100%.
Not because he's worked a job and given anybody anything.
And it makes the whole theory with McKelty and her falling out with Robin and everything a lot more plausible for Robin and probably Kody to be inquiring about Garrison's will and what they're going to get out of it and the profits, because that's all these fuckers give a shit about. I mean, Kody saying later in the episode with Janelle's business that he felt entitled to her profits from her business because he helped fund it or whatever. So that's not fair that I don't get the profits from that. What are you talking about?
Okay, so you're bringing it up a little bit ahead of time, which is fine because I have a question and let's just talk about it now. So what is this business that Janelle has that Kody is purporting to have given her money to start, and then she starts getting profits and then she doesn't share those and she takes those with her? Because the only business that I am personally aware of over the last handful of years that Janelle has been an MLM. It's been Plexus.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the startup costs for that are probably not going to be that much. And I don't really see Kody having to kick in a bunch of money to support Janelle. But the audacity, the literal audacity of him to say, well, I deserve some of those profits after he likely didn't kick in anything. And the fact that Janelle made all of that money on her own, based on her own celebrity and the working of her own social media, to turn around and say, where's my money? They'll run me my money.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm apoplectic.
I know. I thought that was so ridiculous that he even had the balls to say it. I'm
Insane.
like, I can't believe you're saying this on camera right now, that you feel entitled to her stream of income. And this was literally right after Janelle said that in FLDS and like all of these cults, these Mormon cults and polygamous cults, that women don't have autonomy over their own money, and how she finds it very important that women have their own stream of income. She's got her own side business so she can make money because Janelle was living on an RV on Coyote Pass and didn't have a house. She needed money. And Kody being like, well, I should have gotten some of that. I should have gotten some profits from that.
And remember how mad he was when she purchased that RV, which she purchased for something like $80,000, $85,000.
Yep.
You already know he was wanting that money. Like, how dare you use your own money to buy something that's not for me?
My God.
So he's still in the energy of that. And I just love Janelle saying, yeah, no, those are my profits. I'm going to take those with me. I'm not sharing that with the family. Queen. Why should I?
Queen shit right there.
Yeah, and also common sense.
Yeah, 100%. But fuck Kody.
Yeah.
And speaking of Kody, with Jen and Mary, the other conversation that they had was about Mary coming from like a patriarchal culture and how, you know, I think it was like how she expected Kody to be kind of patriarchal. And Mary's like, well, I wanted him to take care of me. Like, I wanted my man to take care of me.
Yep.
And he didn't. And Kody essentially wasn't a real man. It's like what Mary's trying to say. And I just love that so much.
Yep.
But then we have Kody in his talking head being like, no, Mary wants an alpha, but she also wants control.
Right.
So have fun getting
to be
that.
in charge. It's never going to work. And I'm not sure if it's in the same scene, but it's certainly in the same talking head where he then says something like, and she's going to have to ditch the bitches that she surrounds herself with if she ever wants to attract a man, because a man is not going to put up with this, which is just some more of this reminiscent of vibe of Andrew Tate, misogyny, manosphere bullshit. Like you can't surround yourself with independent, free thinking women with their own agency, because that's going to threaten me and my masculinity. So Mary, if you ever want a man, you know, follow my advice. Ew, God, why would I ever want a man like you, though?
I mean, really? And you're not an alpha.
No.
Like, you're not at all. You literally make the women do everything and work to pay your lifestyle.
Right.
Like, that's why you have a $2.1 million mansion, because you got all of this other money from all of these wives that you fucking dumped for Robin and her goiter.
Oh!
Like, I'm sorry, but it's like, jeez! I'm just calling it like I see
Lord
it.
Jesus, you just said that out loud.
I did.
But I mean, yeah, he sacrificed everything for Robin.
Yeah.
And Robin gets to be the beneficiary of the work that the entire family, including the kids, did. And she gets to walk away. She gets to move into the new house. She has all of the furniture, all of the artwork, the Dickensian village, all of the fucking figurines. She's got everything she could ever want. And Mary's sitting here in her haunted B&B, just like, can you at least give me my 25% for Coyote Pass? I never asked for alimony. I never asked for anything for Leon. All I want is just, this is my legacy from the family.
Yep.
And we have Kody talking to the realtor.
Yeah, let's get to that.
Telling the realtor that my wives essentially expect me to screw them over, and they don't trust me because obviously we're going through divorce, and so the trust is lost. But he does say on camera that I will be fair.
Yeah.
But I just want to remind you of what one of the commenters on YouTube reminded me of, which is just because Kody is saying he's going to be fair doesn't mean he's making a commitment to split the property equally.
Yes.
It's not the same thing. Cody's idea of fair, I guarantee you, is not going to be what the women think is fair.
No way. Not at all. And had they fully divided up the property yet? Like, I keep seeing people on Reddit saying that it's been divided, but I haven't seen anything like concrete proof of like who got what.
I don't know
that yet.
Because we're seeing the lots. We're seeing them as 4 lots, whereas previously they've shown 5 lots. And so I'm really not sure how they've actually been legally subdivided, or if they have been at all. I don't know. I think the expectation, though, is kind of what's more important. The expectation of Mary, the expectation of Janelle is that they get a quarter.
Yeah.
They get a quarter each, and then Robin gets a quarter and Kody gets a quarter. That means Robin and Kody walk away with more than half, which is already not fair because they are assuming Christine's portion as well.
Right.
But at the very least, give the other women the quarter. And I don't think he's going to. I don't think they want to. If they wanted to, they would have already done it. We have Mary giving an interview to Entertainment Weekly in the last 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, saying it is still an outstanding issue. We are still trying to work it out. So they're fighting about it. If we've got scenes that are taking place, I'm assuming Christmas of 2023, winter of 2023, 2024, and Kody is digging in his heels, and then we've got Mary in the winter of 2024 saying, yeah, we're still not resolving. That's a whole fucking year.
Yeah, right.
That's an entire year that it hasn't been resolved. That means he's not moving on it.
Well, and I mean, even this whole scene with him talking to the realtor by himself is fucked up, because I'm like, Mary and Janelle should be a part of this conversation. Like, why are you doing this as a publicity stunt to say on camera, I'm going to be fair. I'm a good guy. Like, my wives just think I'm terrible, and they're the ones that want to screw me. Janelle wants to screw me over, not me.
Any opportunity she's got.
That was so evil.
It was really ridiculous.
I'm laughing because it was so bizarre, but it's just like him just like, ooh, rubbing his hands together.
And nothing I see of Janelle, nothing she has certainly shown us on the show would ever say to me that she's trying to screw anybody over. This woman just wants to move to North Carolina, and she wants to have her flower farm. She wants to be in her zen. She wants to be by her kids. That's all she wants. She does not want to be punitive, and she does not want to make you suffer. Just give her money.
Well, it's because Janelle's been the one that he's financially abused the most. Like, she's been the pushover. She's been the one that he could tell what to do for so many years. So the second that she's like, no, I'm standing up for myself, I get my fair share, he perceives that as, you know, oh, she's trying to screw me over. Like, no, dude, she's entitled to a quarter of this fucking property. She paid off a quarter of it, so give her her fair share. And then there was also a comment where Kody said Janelle wanted him to buy her out. And he's like, well, I don't have that kind of money, which I thought was interesting because I don't know if I believe him.
I don't believe him. If they were able to put down $400,000 for the new McMansion that they're moving into and or have already moved into.
Right.
So they were liquid to some degree. And he certainly could have sold some of his assets in order to pay her back. Another thing I was thinking was like, he doesn't actually have a right to hire this realtor.
No.
Because those women have to sign off on the actual contract and agreement with the realtor because they are part owners in it. Like, my husband can't hire a realtor to sell this house when my name is on this house. I've got to be in that meeting, and I've got to sign my name too.
Yeah.
So is this all just for the TLC? Is this all just for the show of it?
Yes.
Because he can't legally do this. And the realtor is also disingenuous because he can't actually put this in the MLS and get any offers for anything.
No, he can't. Well, and like, it's like Kody's trying to get the realtor to appraise the property as well and be like, well, what do you think we could get from this? And if you could get any offers, let me know. And then I will distribute that information to the wives. And he's saying this too. Like, he's like, well, any offer we get, I have to get their permission. Anything that we do, I have to get their permission. But still, send it all to me.
Filter it through me.
Yes.
Yes.
So that way he can tell the wives. And that's why Mary and Janelle have a fucking lawyer.
And that's why you want to have this non-emotional third party who can speak to Kody and his representative in a legal way and handle all that shit for you, because Kody cannot be trusted to be in charge of this process. Furthermore, the realtor is not an appraiser. I know, was it Janelle or Mary that was asking about an appraisal a few weeks ago?
Mary.
I think Mary was asking, like, hey, is it like the time that we should bring somebody out to do an appraisal?
Right.
But Kody doesn't want an appraisal because that land is probably worth more than it used to be worth, and he's not going to want to have to pay out according to the new price.
Exactly.
So no appraisal. We're just going to ask this realtor what his opinion is. Now, Kody mentions that he purchased one of the plots for himself.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we talk about that? Because how did you do that? Because Mary had to kick in money. Janelle had to kick in money. You guys, I presume, have to kick in some money. How does that equal you paid from your own money for one plot?
It doesn't.
I just don't understand.
He just feels entitled to it because it's his plot. But his name is on every single plot. So, and Janelle points this out. Like, she can't do anything about it. Mary can't do anything about it. Otherwise, they would have taken care of the paperwork already. They would have figured this shit out because Kody won't. But all of his names are on all of the plots. So, I don't know what plot he's even talking about. Maybe him and Robin's plot.
I think he's talking about him having to contribute 25%. Because everybody had to contribute 25% in order to pay it off. And so that to him means I have one plot. It's just for me.
No.
Even though his name is on all of the plots. I'm just like, what are you even talking about? Because the records don't bear that out. And I'm not sure. Are you trying to make some sort of a legal case or a legal statement on camera? Trying to claim a plot of land? I don't know.
Dirty guy, dude.
Does anybody out there understand what he was talking about?
It's like that math meme. It's like, I'm like, I literally can't keep track of any of this
and
shit.
You can't trust anything that he says. Even he says he's a flip-flopper. He's wishy-washy. Even in the conversation he's having with this realtor, he's making no sense.
No, none.
He's talking about his marriage. He's talking about the pond. He's talking about everything else except for what you should be talking about, which is like, here's the land. What do you think?
Right.
Give me your professional opinion.
Exactly. No, like I said, he's just trauma dumping on this realtor. It's so terrible. And like, what's crazy too is that he's showing the land and he's pointing out all of his junk. So like all of the stuff that's on Coyote Pass is from Kody, and he says it's from all of his failed businesses.
But there's no follow-up.
I know.
So thanks, TLC.
Right.
So like, what do we think those failed businesses are? Because we know about My Sister Wives Closet, but I highly doubt that they have inventory that they're keeping in like a locked storage unit out on Coyote Pass.
No, yeah.
So we also know that he has some sort of a weird gun business or gun resale business. But as we understand it, he's pretty hogtied on that and he can't really sell a whole lot. I highly doubt he's keeping guns and gun supplies out on his property in a locked storage unit. So what other businesses, other than maybe MLM bullshit,
maybe
inventory from that, what do we think it is?
I don't know. I have no idea because Kody just seems so shady. And I'm just like, do the other wives know about all of these businesses that you started that were failed? Or like, what? Are you talking about weird things that you're counting as like an LLC? Like you can, are you doing some tax fraud out on this land? Like what's going on out here? And then he also points out Janelle's trailer, or the trailer that he had that was hauling water for Janelle's RV. And he points that out. He makes a dig to Janelle in front of the realtor. Yeah, that's not good for a marriage. One wife living in an RV, especially if there's dogs in the RV.
Right.
Oh my God.
Just constant.
I hate him.
He never stops. It's so unnecessary.
Yep.
Furthermore, you would look so much better to everybody if you would just have a little bit of class and decorum and not just have this need to constantly dog on these women.
Yep.
These women who have been putting up with your ass all of these years.
Yep. He's literally Mal from Couples Therapy season 1.
Oh my God, he totally is.
Which we're covering on Patreon, by the way.
And it's fun.
It's great.
But he totally is.
Yeah, 100%. It's just wild to me. And then we have a weird interstitial with Robin talking about how she's so irritated that things didn't work out with Coyote Pass. And it's the last like tying remnant that they have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, and
I'm
the last
jumping
couple
ahead.
years.
It's the last couple of years
Yeah.
that undid the 30 years before that. And
that
I'm
you
like,
weren't even here for.
Yeah, you weren't around. I would love if you could stop talking about or opining upon how the family was before you entered it, because the family was cohesive. The family was together. It was a good, healthy unit for the most part.
Yeah.
They had their own issues, but the family was a family. And then you came and all the resources started getting funneled into you and your family magnetically. And you started to get all the attention and you started to get all of the things. And so you don't even know what it was like.
Yep.
Because you weren't around. So stop talking about it.
I know.
Sorry,
Shut up.
am I getting mad?
Oh my
Am I
God.
scaring you?
You're scaring Sunshine.
She's like, what's going on, Mommy? Why are you
She's
so upset? It's because he's an awful person, Sunshine. It's because he's a terrible person and Robin is the worst.
For real.
She's an actual awful psychopath and demon-possessed, Sunshine.
Total
That's why.
homewrecker. 100%.
I do apologize, though.
I know. She's like, I came in here for a girl party.
And she's like, vibe check. Vibe check.
Jeez,
Vibes
Louise.
are off, Mommy. I'm sorry.
Audio listeners are like, what?
We have a Great Dane lady with us here tonight, and she's participating in our rousing conversation about Cody Brown.
My God. But yeah, so Robin's a bitch.
Yep.
Cody's also a bitch.
Yes.
We hate them all.
Yes, we do.
Yes. And then we have Janelle having a Zoom call with Christine and David and Maddie.
Yep.
And she talks about how she bought the flower farm in North Carolina, or she put an offer on.
It was accepted.
Yeah.
And she says it was accepted. It was for 165 acres, which is a lot. And she wants to have a flower farm, which apparently is kind of a big business or industry in North Carolina, which I did not know.
Me neither.
She also talked about putting some cabins on the property and maybe having a retreat space.
Which would be great.
I love all of this. And Janelle is telling us that this just feels like so good for this part of her life. It feels like Zen. Is there anything that would be more peaceful than being out amongst the flowers and nature? It's where I want to be. And Christine, upon hearing this, is really happy for her.
Yes.
And then Christine shares that she too is chasing her dreams. She just got her offer accepted on a second home in Moab. She's going to have an Airbnb. And so she's excited about that. So the women are like, oh my God, we are better off now than we ever were with Cody. And they're both really happy for each other. And I was happy too.
Me too. And it opens up the conversation with Christine saying, you know, it's really important for you to have multiple streams of income. So that way you can have a retirement and like do things in your life. And then we start talking about My Sister Wives Closet, which was really good. I think it was Robin that kind of brought it up. Mm-hmm. She was talking about My Sister Wives Closet, how it was such a great idea that she had for everybody to collaborate together. And so all the wives could get along, but only Mary was the one that supported it, because apparently even Kody didn't support it. And he does admit to this in his talking head. He's like, I'm embarrassed that I didn't really care about My Sister Wives Closet too much, but I just wanted to see the money.
Right, which means it was not profitable.
It never was.
Robin does let us know that both Mary and Janelle, Christine and Janelle.
Yes.
Sorry, Christine and Janelle were the ones who didn't really support it. And Kody makes some sort of a comment like, this is why the man really has to be in charge of the project, because you're not going to have wives listening to another wife who's the boss, which also telegraphs to us that Robin was acting like a boss. Robin needed to be in charge. And yet Robin is telling us in this episode, well, in the beginning, it was all four of us. This was a project for the family. And we also have Christine talking about how any of the businesses that they wanted to participate in had to be discussed in sort of a committee fashion.
Yep.
And everybody had to agree upon it. So in the beginning, everybody agreed. Everybody was an equal partner. But the way Robin is framing it now was like, that was her business. I started this business. And we've got Kody confirming that she was acting like a diva. She was acting like she was in charge. And that's probably what pissed off Christine and Janelle. It would have me.
Well, and it was also a stupid fucking business.
And it was ugly fucking jewelry. It was really ugly jewelry.
And so expensive for like the cheapest, shittiest silver. Like, it was terrible. It was a terrible idea from the start, Robin. I'm sorry that your business was always going to be a failure.
Right.
Like, I mean, I don't know what you want us to say.
Well, she takes no responsibility, though, for the fact that it's bad design, bad jewelry, bad concept. Instead, she just blames the other women for not participating and doing their share, and even Kody.
Right.
That's why it failed. It wasn't because of me.
No,
it would never be because of me.
No. My designs were so great. And everyone would have wanted to wear a weird ball sack necklace. Seriously, it was so bad.
So terrible.
And it's also rich to me that Kody was like, yeah, the man really has to be in charge with all of this. I'm like, you never were. And you also bitched about how your wives wanted you to be in charge of that. And you blamed the wives for leaving you. And like all this stuff. It's so stupid. But it just proves that Kody's been a flip-flopper this whole entire time. Like, it's like, what do you want? Do you want to be the patriarch, or do you not want to be? Because you never acted like one. You wanted all the wives to be independent, but now you're saying My Sister Wives Closet failed because you weren't in charge. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I hate him so much.
You can't keep it together, because he's just lying, and it's all revisionist history.
Yeah.
Which he has actually admitted to in this season.
Oh, yeah. And this also opens up the conversation more to talk more shit about Kody and to talk about how great David is, because Christine's talking about how everything used to be done by committee and it was always Cody's way. Right. And now it's David's like, yeah, Christine, you do whatever you want. You want to buy a house in Moab? Go ahead. I don't care.
Yeah, and how he kind of is able to step back and be in a supportive position, whereas with Kody, like, it had to be his way. And if you disagreed with him and wanted to do something differently, he would just talk at you ad nauseum until you capitulated and then did what he wanted to do. And so it's so refreshing. And Christine actually says, like, I like being a leader. I like taking charge. I like being the one in control of a project. Like, I really, really get off on that. And David is perfectly happy to let her do that and to let them both be successful because she's taking charge, which is great.
Well, and I mean, to be fair, Christine does make decent financial decisions. I mean, like, even leaving Kody, she was the smartest one to do it. I mean, she fucking sells her house. She's like, let me have the proceeds from that. You can have Coyote Pass. Bye.
Yeah, I would have never given him Coyote Pass personally. I'd have been like, okay, you're gonna have to pry that from my cold dead hands, because I'm not taking my name off of it. Absolutely not. But she did what she felt was best. She did not want to have any other entanglements with that dope. So she gave him Coyote Pass, and she got off scot-free with a couple $200,000-$300,000.
I would have
set
done
herself
the same
up,
thing.
find herself a new man who can help to fund her life as well. And I love that for her.
I mean, I would have done the same thing as Christine, because I think Christine knew that Kody was going to be difficult with Coyote Pass. I mean, she's talking to Janelle and she's like, I can't believe he's just giving you the runaround. But in the back of her mind, she's like, I know.
Yeah.
She's like, I know Kody. And I think she even says something to that effect. She's like, Kody is the worst with like financial decisions. Like you can never get anything from him. He always drags his feet on everything. He even admits to this in this episode. He's like, yeah, my default's just to like avoid it and not deal with it and just leave it there. But now I've got these wives nagging me, these ex-wives nagging me to do them a favor. Right. And I'm tired and I'm busy and I got a lot of things going on.
Okay, so sue him.
I mean, for real.
Sue him. File a lawsuit against him. Please. File 2.
Oh my God, please.
And have him have to represent himself on 2 lawsuits.
Yep. And
run
pay for
those
a lawyer.
bills up. Yep.
Oh my God.
That's what I would have done.
They should have done
Yes.
that.
Run those bills up. Well, it doesn't make sense for them because they're going to have to pay for that to happen.
I guess.
But that is what we would like to see as raccoons in the dumpster.
It'd be so great if they did. And then we have Christine and David, talking about their Airbnb rental in Moab, and they have to drive down there in the snow.
And deliver the furniture. And then next week we're going to see it. And I'm like, is this just one big advertisement for her new business venture where we're going to have to go and see the house and talk about it all? I don't care. Yes. I don't want to see any of it. It's boring to me.
Yeah.
What wasn't boring, though, was bopping on back to Parowan, where Jen and Mary are continuing their conversation, and we start talking about dating.
Oh, yeah.
And we learned that Mary is looking for a tall man.
Yeah. And older.
I was trying to gauge how tall Kody probably is. Like I was measuring him against the little realtor, but that dude was a pipsqueak.
He's probably like 5'10".
He's probably like 5'9".
Maybe.
I think Cody's giving 5'8", 5'9".
He's shrinking. He's
definitely shrinking. Yeah. So Mary wants a tall person, somebody taller than her at least. So I mean, a nice 6 foot.
Yeah.
Tall.
Big dick.
Tall drink of water. Big dicked man. That's what we want from Mary. She's also looking for somebody a little bit older.
Yeah, which is interesting.
At the time of this filming, she's 53 years old and she's open to like 55, 60, even 65. She's looking for an old
Medicare
daddy.
Age, girl.
Medicare age. A sugar daddy. She wants to be a sugar baby.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
It kind of conflicts with her other desire to have somebody who shares and matches her energy.
Yeah.
Like the older you get, like that starts to dwindle a little bit.
Right.
But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who match her ambition, who have the same kind of vision. And that's what she wants. Somebody who can keep up with her and support her in all her endeavors.
Yep. And I mean, with Kody talking about how she's so controlling and she's such a bitch and everything, I'm like, you can find a man that would match that energy. And honestly, I think Mary needs somebody that is willing to take that control from her and like be like, no, I got it. I'll take care of you, baby. I got all this money. I got all these businesses. I'll take care of you. That would be so great for Mary.
Yeah.
I want that for her so bad.
I want that as well. And I think that in a lot of ways, she will probably settle down when she does have a partner who is stable and confident and not just destabilizing her entire world. Like then she can rest, then she can really focus on her creativity and all the things that she needs to do. Like when you're in a space of, oh my God, my future, like I've got to make sure I can retire. I've got to make sure I can pay for my haunted B&B. Like when you're worried about that all the time, it doesn't always lend itself well to making the best decisions and especially business decisions. But when you have a partner who's on the same page and can support you and hold you down, man, that is so wonderful. And that is what I want for her. And that is what I want for Janelle.
Oh, for sure. 100%. I mean, it's kind of like Christine and David. Like they seem like a really good match. Like David trusts Christine with their financial decisions and they seem to be doing really well. I mean, David's got his own business with his drywall and stuff. He's probably making bank. Like they're sitting pretty and great. And so I feel like Mary looks at them from afar and is like, damn, I kind of want that. And I mean, David's an older daddy.
Yep.
Maybe that's why
she wants an older man because he's got his shit together.
Exactly.
Even though Kody is purchasing a new mansion, he does not have his shit together.
No way.
And Mary and all of those women know that the writing is on the wall, that his money is going to dry up, and then he is not going to have anything. But somebody like David, who's got his own drywall business, who has a future, who has been planning, who has been saving. Like that's the kind of man that you want. You do want a little bit of an older man if that's what you're looking for.
Exactly. Established.
Yes.
And I liked how Jen was talking about like a senior citizen.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how old Jen is. I think she's probably younger than Mary, right?
She looks like she is, yeah.
She's probably like in her 40s
Mid-40s,
or whatever.
yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of sad that Mary's like looking for an older man that's put together because most people Cody's age are put together. But Kody is just like a crazy testosteroned out, balding loser. That
narcissist.
Is just, I mean,
very much self-inflated ego, and thinks that he's all that, and thinks that this is always going to be the way that it is.
Right.
It is going to be such a harsh and wonderful reality check when he realizes that the gravy train is stopping and that he's going to have to make his own way in the world.
Right. And I mean, if we're to believe him when he says in this episode he doesn't have the money to buy Janelle out, I'm like, how can you afford that mansion then, bro? I mean, I know you probably got some proceeds or from your other mansion, but you don't have a job.
You don't have a job. And I mean, $20,000 a month in terms of a mortgage, which is what it's being speculated that they're going to have to pay. That is a lot of money.
That's crazy.
$20,000 a month on top of the $400,000 you sank into it in your down payment.
In this economy?
Yeah, I don't know. But I am watching.
I
am watching, honey. I am watching so
I can't
closely.
wait.
And so, yeah, maybe Mary's in a haunted B&B and the wallpaper is trash and the kitchen is terrible, but she owns that shit. She's paying for it herself. It's not more than she can afford. I did hear some information about the third loan that she took out on the B&B.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it actually just absorbed the two previous loans. So it's not like she's taken out $1.1 million against this house, which could not support it anyway.
That'd be crazy.
It is that she owes, I think, $400. She's got a new loan and now she owes $400 some odd thousand on this B&B, but she can pay it.
Sure.
She's got her TLC coins. She's got her Worthy Up coins.
Yep.
She's got her LuLaRoe, and now she's going to start a podcast, which I'm sure she's going to monetize. So she's got multiple streams of income, and the future looks bright for her. And she didn't overreach with what she purchased, whereas Robin and Kody,
oh my God,
most definitely did.
They're so screwed.
I think they are.
I shouldn't laugh at that,
they are.
But I think they are screwed. And I just, you know what? I look forward to the day.
I mean, and he's delusional.
Yes.
And he doesn't see it.
No, he doesn't.
And we see it. And I'm like, why aren't you worried about this? If poverty is your biggest fear, this is you should be planning for this.
I think it's not even poverty is his biggest fear. It's looking poor. The image of being low class or poor, because why else would you buy a $2.1 million mansion? Why do you need this stuff? Why do you need that ugly Lexus that we see in the earlier seasons? Why do you need all of this
appearances?
Yeah, it's all for him to be like, yes, I'm a rich, big dicked man with all of these women. I'm living life. But no, you're not.
Well, I mean, we'll see how it goes for you.
We'll see.
As the years go by.
We'll be watching.
Yes.
And then we have the preview for next week.
Okay.
We have Mary and Janelle on a Zoom call talking about Kody doing something underhanded.
Yes.
Like we know he's going to do.
Yes, and it seems like Mary's starting to get based, starting to get red-pilled. I don't even know what that means. I'm such a boomer. But she's starting to see the light. She's starting to face reality.
Yeah.
This is very shitty. You're in a shitty situation, so we got to do something. We got to do it now.
Yep, and she says something to Janelle I can't believe it's come to this. And it's yeah.
Well, I mean, Janelle told you at that time, it's been probably a year ago that Janelle told you that this is what was happening, and she saw it, but you don't want to hear anybody except yourself because your walls are up.
Yep. All the time. Then we have Christine and David at the Airbnb.
And I'm a Sonori.
Nobody cares. That's great. You have an Airbnb. Bye. And then we have Kody and Robin doing some stupid picnic at Coyote Pass. And this is where Kody, with his big, dumb, fat mouth, says, oh, it's in this moment? I don't really want to sell, actually.
Yeah.
I love this place.
Well, heads up, you can be compelled to sell if you're on the property with somebody else who's a legal owner and doesn't want to own it anymore.
Yep.
So they're going to take you to court, and they're going to have a judge say it's time to sell this. You got 60 days to sell it. And so, Kody, you can't do whatever the fuck you want to do just because you're the one saying it.
And then you want to shit on the ex-wives for nagging you because their names are tied to this property.
It's all a big emotional game. I think he loves it. He knows that they're mad. I think he loves being in that position.
Oh, of
with
course.
Those women.
Because that's how he gets his power.
Yep.
He loves to be the one holding all of the cards. And he says that in this episode. I forgot. Oh my God. When he's like, the women left me with the bag.
Yeah.
And now I've got to figure out what to do with it. And he tries to push it off on everybody else. Oh, you guys deal with the paperwork if you're in such a hurry. But, dude!
And Mary's like, I said I can help. I said I would do the things. I would talk to the people. I would handle the paperwork. But it's crickets. There's no response.
It's all a game
Everything
for him.
He says is a lie.
Yep, 100%. I can't wait for next week. If all the episodes, the rest of them this season, which are probably going to be 26 episodes, like I said.
I know, girl. Because they released the little blurbs for the next 3 episodes.
Yep.
So that takes us into episode 20. So 18, 19, 20.
Yep.
So if somebody said there's 26 episodes, that still seems pretty long to me.
It's crazy.
But it's definitely a very long season. But if it's going to be these types of episodes,
I'm down.
I'm down too.
I mean, this is so much better than Christine's wedding.
Getting into the legalese and into the money of it all is where I want to be.
Give it to me.
Well, is there anything else that we should be saying to these beautiful raccoons before we get up on out of here, bitches?
Well, if you love our podcast, please go to your favorite podcast platform and leave us a glowing 5-star review. 5! It really helps us grow the pod so more people can join us in the dumpster, and we really appreciate it, so thank you very much.
We will be back later this week because we had a lot of phone calls. Listen, people have things to say about the Sister Wives, so make sure you come back for that because there are some good calls in this one. That'll be later this week. Until then, please do not forget that we have nothing but love for you, and peace out.
Bye.